Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Race Spec Season 8 Pacific Series Tier 2. Tonight coming to you from Saudi Arabia at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit for Round 8. And as you can see on the title of the video, we have our second of our 4 sprint rounds. So it should be a very interesting night of racing. As we know, around this 6.174 kilometre circuit, 27 corners, even though half of them are probably flat out. It's pretty much the fastest street circuit on the F1 calendar. You're averaging about 250 kilometres an hour. A lot of the track, you're at full throttle. And being that its walls are fairly close, we may see a fair few incidents, and especially with this sprint round. Could be a few guys pushing. Obviously in the desert tonight we should be seeing clear for all 3 sessions, I'd imagine. Be really surprising if we do get a bit of wet weather, but on this game you sort of never know, as the guys just get their setups done. 16 on the grid tonight, so a little bit of a smaller field, but nonetheless the action will be very, very good to see. So just having a look at the results from last night, from last week I should say, around Canada. Obviously results have probably changed from last week. Unfortunately the first place driver did get disqualified for known reasons that we won't go into here, but Roscoe, he actually will score his first race win. Being moved up, scored a very nice second place, so he gets moved up into first for McLaren. Sneaky in the Aston Martin winds up second, and Alex96 moves up into the third place position. So very nice for those guys, and a little bit of a mixed up grid, which is good to see. Just double checking these mic settings, so hopefully all clear coming through. Luckily with the PlayStation Discord, with the new update, we'll be able to actually talk to these drivers. So some of the PC guys that we know have been fairly quick, but unfortunately haven't been able to chat with. They can actually hop into the comms box tonight, so looking forward to that, as I just try and find our first driver that will cross the line and start a flying lap. That'll be clean break, so we'll see how well he goes as he rounds the final now to start this 6.1 kilometre circuit. And as you can see, he actually does come in, so we'll quickly switch to Prezzo, because Prezzo is definitely starting a lap. So a couple of DRS straights on this track, 3 to be exact. Prezzo coming down to the first turn, 1-2, complex. Needs a nice exit through here. And as you can see, just very tight walls, so close. Taking a lot of curb on the inside there of around 4, 5, 6. Then you've got the left, right, and then back to left. Very tight, twisty this first sector. Coming across the first line, he is a 32.7 for the first sector. Now the hairpin at 13. Different lines some drivers take, a bit of a wide or narrow line, either option. And then around 14, and then 15, 16, 17 here, the right, and then switching straight back to the left. Nice line through there from Prezzo, and as we come up to the second of 3 DRS zones, so a lot of speed. These are counting as corners, but we won't count them. And then 22, 23, that curve that Prezzo just went over can be a little bit unsettling of the car, but rode it nicely. And then the third DRS on the track. So what's he hit? He hit 334 kilometres an hour. So he's running a lot less down 4.7 some of these other tracks. Start finish DRS, he'll come across the line and do a 29.2 as his first banker. So we'll see how some of these other guys go. Banana sets his first lap 30.7. As we got, actually, you'll stay on board with G4 Zach. Just rounding the final corner, turn number 27. But as I said, half these corners are flat out, so you obviously got your tight sector 1, your hairpin, and then obviously the final corner and then the chicane towards the back. Grid Jokes, our new reserve driver, he does a 28.8, so really nice job there. Actually, I think he did score the full-time seat at Williams. So, good showing, 28.8, not a bad lap. Davis in the McLaren, 29.7. As we just try and find, I think that is the other Red Bull of Jimson. So he's coming across the line now, he goes 29.6. And we've got the other Alfa Romeo of Steely. So he'll come across the line. What can he do? He's just starting his lap, actually. So how will he take turn 1, 2? Nice line. You can go a little bit wide. Obviously, got to be careful to stay within the white line. It's easy to invalidate there on the exit. And then, as we sort of know, just through here, easy to unsettle the car. I sort of jinxed it on him. So sorry about that, Steely. You just saw this the rear of the car slightly go. I'd imagine, surely, he's got a little bit of damage. It might be right, actually, but he might come in a box. But as you can sort of see, that part's definitely tricky, just with obviously switching from the left to the right, just the load on the car. So if you don't quite have it planted, very easy to go around there. So yeah, and obviously if we have it at the start of the race, can cause a little bit of a roadblock. Obviously ghosting is on for this league, so that may help avoid that. But yeah, turn 6 definitely one of the corners to be mindful of. Turn 5, turn 6, as you have both Red Bulls. Imagine Jimson is coming in. He is. So we'll jump back on to Steely. We'll see if he does go again. He saved up a bit of ARS, so he might actually be right to go for another run here. So he rounds the final corner. And he comes in, so hopefully he hasn't got too much damage. Looks like he avoided it. And we got coming around Banana just about to start his next lap. Actually, he's stayed out, actually. So he's on 2 lap olds. What about Ron? He goes up into P6 on a 29.7. So he moves himself up. Obviously, only 9 drivers have set a time. We've got about just over 10 minutes left to go in the session. What about Orphan Drop? He's not setting a time because he's invalidated and completely lost his front wing. So he's had a moment earlier on in the track on the lap, and he sort of rushes into pit lane. Would have been a little bit funny if we saw him lose his front wheel. Ghost Rider moves himself up into the top 8. I see wrong AlphaTauri. That's Masticles coming in. So we've got a fairly clear track. Bananas is invalidated his time. So we're about, who's that having a spin? Actually, that's a bit of a weird spot to actually have a spin. He's right in the middle. Oh no, that's the other part of the track. It's where Steely went actually before. So again, Ghost Rider having another spin at turns 5 and 6. So definitely dangerous that corner. Banana's invalidated, so we'll switch to Ron. I think he's coming in. Obviously the lone Ferrari tonight. Well, we've got a little bit of a non-action on track. Just having a quick look at the driver's standings after the first 7 rounds and our last race at Canada. Dutchy currently leads by 38 points over Dada. Dutchy and Dada both did not race last week. So Roscoe, obviously with his big win, moves himself up into P3. The results haven't quite been finalised after the disqualification last week. So Roscoe will get a couple more points, but he's third in the championship. Sneaky in P4 after his podium. And Davis, after not having a great race last week, finds himself still in the top 5 in this championship. Prezzo, his form's sort of been iffy, we can say, the last 5 rounds, only finishing once in the top 10. So he's struggling to find a little bit of form on Tuesday nights. And Masticles rounds out the top 7. We do have a lot more action on track. People starting to do their outlaps once again. Constructors, Aston Martin still pretty much dominantly out in front on 230 points compared to McLaren in second, 167. So a very hefty margin of 63 odd points. And then AlphaTauri are currently in third on 90. So fair big gaps. So Aston Martin's still leading the way. Dutchy obviously got a healthy lead. But obviously, as you can see, Dutchy not racing tonight. Dada not racing tonight. So Roscoe can make a bit more ground on these top boys. So obviously still in the pits, hasn't set a lap time. I know this one he sort of struggles with a little bit in terms of pace, but I know he did a race around here a few days ago and actually got a pretty good result, to be fair. So should be in some good form for him. As we just wait for these boys to go around. That's Ghost Rider just giving the guys behind him obviously free track. Here we got it coming around the final corner now. Grid Jokes is about to start his next run, as we've got 7 minutes on the board. Prezzo as well is starting his run. Who's that? Oh, had a spin. Orphan Drop's gone at the hairpin. So unfortunately that's another lap that he'll have to get out of. Banana coming around the final corner, he's invalidated, but this looks like an out lap. We're at the Aston Martin. Where's the Aston Martin? There he is. Sneaky. He's going to come across the line now, hasn't set a time. What can he do? 29 flat, goes into P2. That's a really good lap from him. Steely moves himself up into P11. Managed to get a lap in after he spit early on. Flunky Boy moves himself up into P2, and that's not a bad lap from the AlphaTauri driver, only just under 2/10 behind Grid Jokes at the moment. Zach crossed the line, he didn't improve. What about Davis? He goes into P2, so all these boys moving up, fighting time. Well, we've got an Aston Martin again at after turn 6, that looks like turn 7 this time round. Prezzo, he actually goes purple in the middle sector by half a second, which will actually put him on pole position. So we'll watch this final part of the lap. But Grid Joke, he does improve, and that might actually save him from Prezzo. 28.6, got about 4/10 over Davis, but Prezzo currently on a 29.3. Does he find a bit more time? He does. 28.4. Brilliant lap from Prezzo. He goes on pole position at the moment, down 3/10 in that last sector, which is surprising a little bit because you've only got the chicane. So obviously he made a mistake previously, and then the last corner. Other than that, it's a lot of DRS. That's a brilliant job from Prezzo. We'll see if he can hold it. But the top two sort of a bit of a ways away from the guys behind. What about Ron Burgundy? Currently P9. Make his way down to turn 27. He hit 330 odd as well. Might get a little bit sneaky toe. He was going to try and grab a bit of advantage. No, he comes in. Ghost Rider. Actually, quickly check these boys. Clean break. It's on his run. Roscoe's finally out on his lap. We'll see what he can do. As he comes across the line, does a 29.6 for his first run. He'll have time to come in, get his second set of boots on. Ghost Rider, I'm pretty sure he's coming into the pits. He is. No, clean break. We did see a purple middle. Purple first. Purple middle now. So set his best first and second sector. And what speed does he hit? He only hits 319, so it looks like clean break's running a little bit more downforce than a couple of the other guys that we've seen. Or he just had a bit of a poorer exit out of the chicane. Goes P11 on a 29.9. It'll be interesting to see what wings he's running compared to some of them. That's about a 15-kilometre speed loss compared to the likes of Prezzo, his teammate. So that could be a little bit tricky for him in the race. Obviously, being the sprint round, we'll have 9 laps of the sprint. Obviously, points awarded down to the top 10. And then, obviously, that sets the grid for the feature. So, these top guys are going to have to keep it a little bit clean, because if they do hit the wall on DNF, they're starting from the back. We know passing is definitely possible on this circuit. You got to be definitely mindful, because any DRS trains can hurt. I think that's just clean break, running out of fuel. That's what we have the yellows for around the back. As Jeff will sort of holding it in P5, so interesting how he's doing this sort of lap. Once we get the yellows done, we'll be able to see how much time we've got left. It'll be about a couple of minutes. So he obviously wanted a second run, or second warm-up lap, I should say, surprisingly. But he's got a lot of traffic in front of him, as you can see on the mini-map in your bottom right-hand corner of the screen. So he's going to have to find a bit of space, and as we know, towards the end of qualifying, people trying to push as much as they can, may crash out, hit the wall, and if they cause a little bit of a roadblock, can affect all the guys behind them on their laps. So obviously they want the best of the track conditions, track evolution with more grip, but be a little bit careful in terms of getting involved with someone else's incident. As you can see, we've only got 2 guys in the pits, everyone else is out. So Roscoe is coming out now, but he's only got a minute 5, so he won't be coming around to start his final lap. Clean break is in, so he's done. So he'll start no higher than 11th. As we have everybody just starting their runs now. Might stay on board. Grid Jokes obviously just trying to find some space. All these boys will try and find one of these first guys that are a little bit further down. I think Orphan Drop is the first one that will see the checkered flag. As he comes around 16 now. Not too bad, he'll activate DRS this middle part. See how he takes 22, 23, rise that curve a little bit, but keeps his lap valid. So, DRS down this last straight before the final corner, and turn 26, but obviously flat out he hits 336, so he's probably running a little bit less downforce than his brother actually. But DRS again, he goes to the line, he does a 130 flat. Obviously not his best lap, but at least he's got a time on the board. And Masticles has had a spin out of the hairpin, so that's super unfortunate. What about Banana? I think he's to cross the line next. As we go up to the run, Masticles, he gets disqualified. He obviously tried to turn it around. Banana stays P12th. Sneaky. Brilliant lap from the Aston Martin. He finds himself on pole position. What about Grid Jokes? He was the first man to be in the 28s. Unfortunately, he doesn't improve. What about Clunky? Currently P5, Davis is P4. Ferrari, Ron just about to cross the line. Does he improve? He goes up a couple of spots into P8. Clunky Boy, he crosses the line. He moves up a spot, jumps the McLaren. And I think that's about it with Jeff having his time invalidated. Sneaky, right at the end, manages to pull out a 28.2, and he'll start on pole for the first race of the night. So a brutal lap from him. Prezzo, he obviously had a mistake on his last run, so he stays on the front row. And then Grid Jokes, unfortunately, it was down on his lap, crossing the line, but that's still a mighty effort from the brand new Williams driver. As we have a look at the results on the screen, Sneaky gets pole by just over a tenth. Grid Jokes 3.5 behind. Clunky and Davis P4, P5. Jimson rounds out that third row. Zach and Ron Burgundy will share the fourth. And then Jeff and Roscoe only on that one run. Manages to squeeze himself in the 10. Steely, Clean Break, Banana, Orphan Drop, Ghost Rider and Massacles will round out the top 16 for this first race, the sprint. So we'll have 9 laps of action. No pit stops. I imagine everyone's probably starting on the medium tyres, but we'll wait and see. So as we load in, very interesting to see how we go and what this race pace is like from these top boys. As we see the timer count down, guys just making final preparations for tyre pressures. And maybe changing it, maybe lowering the front wing down a couple of clicks. So no pit stop in this 9-lap race. Finishing positions in this one determine the grid for the feature. So you want to try and get through this race cleanly to find yourself up the pointy end where the maximum points are for the feature. 10 points down to 1. So top 10 do score points. As we have a look at tyres, has anyone gone aggressive? Orphan Drop has on the soft tyre. So he's thinking that it's a bit of a gamble. Try and make up a few of these positions, maybe a safety car a little bit later on. Have to wait and see. So he's going to be fighting through the field. Everyone else on the medium tyres. Sneaky will lead us away. Sneaky, he has had a win. Got the win at Portugal. So he'd want to be adding to that. Second at he got second in the Mexico sprint, but unfortunately dropped down to 5th in the feature. And then obviously last week scoring the 2nd place. So he's in some good form. He's Sneaky. Then obviously Roscoe. Obviously the highest in the championship that it is racing tonight. Obviously he's right in that middle pack, but he can start to gap. Sneaky as well. He can get a good haul of points here. Close into the top 2. Try and close into that teammate. So he's got 56 points to get, but as we do around the final corner, drivers get just that final bit of heat into their tyres. As I think we've actually had the formation lap fairly clean, which is good to see. So how many places can Orphan make up at the start? Can Sneaky get away? Can Prezzo? He's on the inside line. Obviously, you can have the inside of 1, but the outside of 2. Jimson, unfortunately, going long in his pit box, so he'll be moved back a couple of metres, same as Ron. So, last driver is on the grid. Should see the lights very soon. As we get underway, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 lights to start the sprint at Saudi. And they're underway, and it looked like an alright start for Sneaky. Prezzo didn't quite get away. Sneaky leads into the first corner. Can we get all the way through? We got the Williams and the AlphaTauri side by side. Oh, that's a Red Bull spud at the back. As these guys sort of find themselves still side by side. Or that Mercedes trying to go the inside of the Red Bull. Still holds it. Still side by side, these two. Jimson and Ghost Rider. Jimson on the inside, touches the inside curb, unsettles the car a little bit, but they're both going. Oh, and that's contact between, I think, Jeff and Mastical. So Jeff's around. I think he's got his front wing, might be missing an end plate. We'll quickly jump back up to the top. Sneaky did lead, but Prezzo looking to get the advantage. Oh, had a bit of a moment through there in the dirty air. Prezzo's still there. These boys got a lot of ERS, and Clunky Boy did get grid jokes out of turn 2. So these guys obviously, you can cut those chicanes a little bit and get warnings, so got to be a little bit mindful of that. Trying to carry as much speed through those corners as we can. As we enter the first corner for the final time, Roscoe has done a good job. He's moved himself up 4 positions off the start. So he's had a good start. Zach drops down to P7. But we crossed the line for the first time. Sneaky, 33.8. But he's got Prezzo right behind him. Anyone looking to make a move? Ron just in front of Orphan Drop. As we got side-by-side action further down the field, Jimson gets back past Ghost Rider. And Banana and Masticles all side-by-side, and there's contact between the two. So Banana had to go wide, Masticles had a half spin, and I think Banana just lets him have that position back. So Banana obviously thinking that might have been possibly more his fault. Clunky Boy right behind Prezzo actually. So he's had a good start, a little bit wider line he takes through the hairpin at 13. Obviously DRS won't get enabled until the next lap around. So Sneaky, he would have obviously wanted to break it, but not quite. Prezzo burning a little bit more ERS to sort of be there, but he's having to worry about the AlphaTauri behind him. Very easy to touch the inside walls there, trying to get the line through the chicane. All the drivers benching at the moment. We've only had the one incident with Jeff completely spun and then a little bit of contact with Banana and Masticles. Grid jokes. Get the best jump off the line. He's still in the top 4. And then Davis and Roscoe hanging in there. Dale lap 3, Sneaky's again quickest man on track, 31.4. As we do have DRS enabled. So it'll be interesting to see. Sneaky has broken the 1 second as well. So brilliant job from him as we quickly look at the positions gained. Clunky and Grid have swapped positions. Roscoe up 4. Orphan Drop up 6 on the soft tyres, but obviously they're going to be fairly worn at the end. But he's got a bit of a train behind him with Ron, Clean Break and Steely as well. So I'm just wondering if those soft tyres are maybe overheating just a little bit already. Around 13. Jump back on to Clunky Boy, because after we get around this corner, Prezzo, I thought he went a little bit wide, that's a bit of lag, but this is where DRS now starts coming into play, as Clunky Boy does get it for the first time in this sprint race. So we can see how much time he can get. We know Prezzo's running fairly low on the wings. I haven't seen Clunky Boy's top speed. So the gap's about 7/10 coming around this DRS activation point. Oh, we've got a bit of a moment at the back. Clean break. Oh, thankfully it's his ghosting. Oh, and actually Ghost Rider's had a moment too. So 2 drivers around, unfortunately. So Sneaky, again, fastest lap. He didn't even have DRS and he's quicker. Monkey Boy hanging in there. Looks like Prezzo doesn't quite have the speed around here. Wasn't too bad on the first lap, but seems like he's the slowest of the lead pack. Been creating a little bit of a train behind him. Roscoe going to try and claw his way into this DRS train. Lap 4 already. Might be just sort of biding his time. And slightly less ERS than Prezzo. So a bit of a DRS train open, causing the second version of it. Oh, and I think we've lost clean break. He's had a moment out of 11. So he'll straighten himself up. He's got all his front wings still. Now Prezzo needs a good exit out of here to help defend. Wasn't too bad. So just Clunky Boy going the attack he has. He burned a little bit of ARS at the beginning. He's closing. It won't be enough, but he'll try and line him up for turn 1. Too bad of an exit there. He's definitely closer. Anything about burning? He doesn't. Prezzo wasn't. Just have a look at the speed. Even with DRS, Prezzo got just probably about 320 for the both of them. So Clunky Boy running a little bit more downforce and can't actually get past Prezzo. So as long as Prezzo can work on his exits, he should be fine actually. Quickly switch back down to Ron, or he goes a little bit wide, obviously trying to get the attack done. And the Red Bull, can he make the opportunistic move? No, they touch. Ron and Jimson go around, and that's a reset to track if anything I've seen from Jimson, so a bit of a no-no from him. But Jimson tried to go around the outside. It's not really a series of corners can go side by side, and unfortunately it's thrown both of them, one inside the 10, one outside, but cost them a lot of time, about 6-7 seconds to where they were. So maybe a little bit clumsy. So we might see a steward's report for that, but Orphan drop. He settles a little bit. Yellow flag. Steely has a moment as well. So the 3 train car that Orphan had to defend from, they've all had a moment. Orphan drop's now sitting pretty with a 7-second gap behind him. So even if his softs do die, he's still looking fairly comfortable. Meanwhile at the front, no progression from the guys behind Prezzo. Gridjokes looks to be a little bit closer. Davis has actually dropped out of DRS, so he's burned a lot of ARS, pretty much all of it, to try and keep within these top guys, but just doesn't quite have the pace, unfortunately. So he's got none. Roscoe obviously trying to get back up, catch back up, but obviously the 2 McLarens not quite the speed of the top 4. Sneaky doing a good job. Just managing the gap, got a lot of ARS. Just needs to keep it within the white lines, and he can take over the sprint. As I say that, he's completely ignored that corner at turn 11. So he's got to be really careful with that, because I'm assuming that's an automatic warning, surely. As we see, Monkey Boy tacks up wide line, close to the wall, same as Gridjokes did. There's Prezzo. I say a little bit closer, still that half-second gap. He's having to burn ARS. Burning a lot of ARS. He's thinking about the move for Prezzo. Just that top line speed on the Haas. And he's getting a good enough drive out of here that the AlphaTauri just doesn't have an opportunity to attempt to make a move, let alone actually make it. And Prezzo, top speed, he's actually closed into nearly a second. He won't get DRS this time around. Monkey Boy is actually a lot closer. He had a better exit out of the last corner. Problem is he used all his DRS. He does set the fastest lap, but he's not going to be close enough to make the move down the inside. So he's pretty much burned all his DRS. Prezzo's still got 50%. So unfortunately, I think the AlphaTauri, unless you can do it on pure traction, might be just sitting behind this Haas for a little bit, but Prezzo goes wide through turn 5. Clunky's right there, put a bit of dirty air through this section. Kind of ride the curve, get as much as possible. If you can see what the warnings are. Obviously, being the sprint, it's only 9 laps, but you can easily pick up multiple warnings on this lap, especially if once your tyres start to go. They're doing a good job. Obviously, you don't need to do anything too risky. Clunky Boy's only, if he moves up, he's only going to get a single point. So I don't know if he wants to do anything too reckless because he'd want to start the feature in this top 3 pack. So he might be just content to, if an opportunity opens up for him, he'll go for it, but I don't see him do anything drastic. Obviously burning more ERS, he's got the DRS keeping him behind, but Grid Jokes, he's got a little bit more, so he might actually see, you'll see the flashing light on the Afteri, might think about a sneaky move, especially if Clunky Boy does have a moment at some point. Burning actually quite a lot, he's going to go for a move, Clunky Boy's having to defend, won't get up to Prezzo, but will that hinder him? Clunky Boy taking the inside line, but that switches to the outside. 2 going side by side. Oh, Clunky Boy just manages to get in front. Obviously, with the way the road goes, that could have easily been a little bit of contact. But good driving there. Gave each other just enough room, and Clunky Boy manages to hold on. But in saying that, even with the battling, they've still closed right into Prezzo. So Prezzo really struggling in that first sector. So Grid Jokes will attempt to have another go. He'll close up. Interested to see how these tyres are. Mediums in the main race can go 10, 11 laps. So their tyres should still be in fairly good condition, but just pace that Clunky Boy's taking the chicanes now. He's looking a lot more confident that you can sort of see that pass just getting away down the straights. If you go around turn 22, 23, double right-hander here. Again, using as much DRS as he can, but unfortunately, not quite close enough. Yellow flag at the back. I think that's Steely gone around once again as Sneaky will come around to start our final lap. But actually got to go on board with Grid Jokes. He's liking that final corner. I think he's going to get the move completely done on Clunky Boy. Goes a little bit to the inside, and that goes a little bit deep from Clunky. I don't think he was meaning to do that move, but it actually might pay up for him. As he got to the inside, got the inside line at turn 2. As these two go side by side, the Williams will have the inside line. Oh, a little bit of contact. They still manage to get it done, but Clunky holds on again to third, but this will let off Prezzo. So Clunky Boy's actually lost DRS, unfortunately, and he hasn't got ERS to do. Has a little bit of a moment there, putting ERS. As he goes side by side, he does send it up the inside. Very close to contact to the rear of the Williams, still side by side through here. As we see the change in camera angle, a bit of a moment from Grid Jokes, and this has allowed Davis to actually get back into this pack. Roscoe picks up a 3-second time penalty. Thankfully for him, he's got nearly a 6-second gap. As we watch on board with the McLaren. So these two really getting feisty. Oh, that was a bit of a poor line from Grid Jokes after making the move. So we'll see side by side. Davis will get the better run of them all. So he goes the outside line. Could see possibly 3 wide through here. We are. The McLaren will think about possibly the switch back, but gets blocked in this contact. We could switch back. Sneaky does win the sprint. Prezzo gets second. Grid Jokes and Davis. Grid Jokes gets third. Only just by only 0.02 of a second. So Davis fourth, Roscoe fifth, Clunky Boy obviously with that contact finds himself up into the wall. Still finishes P7th. So he's still in the top half of the grid, but might be a little bit annoyed with that. Obviously it was good racing up until then. But Grid Jokes does get the third. Davis nearly got the both of them when they were battling on that last lap. So as you can sort of see, Roscoe and Orphan managed to actually get those soft tyres to last quite a while. So he's moved up 6 spots. Roscoe up 5. And Masticles from the back of the grid moved up 5 as well. So they're your big movers. And obviously Jimson and Clunky Boy obviously losing a few spots. But fascinating sprint race that one was. Obviously we've got the main feature, 25 laps yet to come. I think Orphandrop will get the sprint race driver of the day. He will. So not a bad effort. Managed to make those soft tyres actually last fairly well. So I thought that'd actually be a lot. It'd be dead. As we have a look at the results for the sprint. As we switch tabs, Sneaky won it by 3.6 seconds. So I think it was comfortable out front. Prezzo, P2. Grid Jokes finishes P3. Obviously, that last corner contact may be looked at, but still a good result from him. Davis manages to capitalise on that, P4. Roscoe moving up 5 spots, P5. Only driver to actually get a 3-second time penalty too, so they'll be mindful for the race. Zach, Clunky Boy, Orphan Drop, Jimson, Ron Burgundy ran out your 10, and then we did have every card finish. So we had all 16 finish, which is good. So as we load up for our feature, so 25 laps. Obviously your medium, hard, medium is the preferred strategy. Obviously safety cars can be a big play around here. Obviously we didn't see any safety car. Did have a couple of spins, so we didn't have any DNFs. As these guys are just sorting themselves out, as we do have the timer on board. As I have a little bit of a drink as we are just about to get underway from the formation lap. Be interesting to see how these guys go. I'll just do that as we get underway. So what tyres have these guys gone? Got a mixture on the grid. So top 3 have gone onto the medium set of tyres. Davis, he's the first one on the hard set, so he's going to try and go long. Roscoe on the mediums. G-Force Zach actually on the soft tyres. So I'd imagine him going soft hard, maybe hoping for a safety car fairly early on. Clunky Boy, Orphan, Jimson are on the mediums. Ron's gone the hard. Masticles on the mediums, and then a few of these guys at the back, Banana, Jeff, Clean Break, Steely. They're on the hard set of tyres as well. And then Ghost Rider, obviously trying to do what Orphan did in the sprint, try and go aggressive on the start on the soft tyres. So he won't want to be trying to get too much heat in those softs, because I reckon you can get a fair bit of wear on the formation lap. But interesting play, got a bit more of a mixture in this one. Thought Sneaky might have tried the hard, but he obviously wants track position, get a good start. Maybe thinking safety car's a possibility. But Davis, obviously watch him towards the back end if we do keep it green flag all the way. But Sneaky got off the line, did what he needed to do in the sprint. Can he do the same? Prezzo, his start wasn't too bad as well. It was the second row that was having the moves in the battle. Zach, can he get himself up with the guys in front? Maybe jump maybe both McLarens with those soft tyres. Davis is obviously going to struggle on the hards, or we've got Prezzo having a bit of a spin coming onto the grid. We'll see if all these guys can manage to get lined up in their box properly. Clean break, unfortunately, he goes long. Same as Orphan Drop Masticles as well. Few guys having a few issues, but we'll wait and see as we do get the lights. Eventually we do 2, 3, 4, 5. And the feature race is underway, and it looked like a better start from Prezzo this time around. He'll have the inside line. Can he keep it? He does. Obviously turns to the outside. Oh, and that's contact for the Williams. He's had a moment. Davis gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. I'd imagine that'd be avoiding on. There's a McLaren in the wall. So top two have gotten away. So a little bit of carnage towards the back as we have a look. Davis was the one that had the moment, so he cut the corner and then obviously had contact coming back on track. Roscoe just jumping in front, fairly clean besides Davis at the front. Clunky Boy's moved up 3 spots, so he's had a good start. Same as Zach, he's moved himself up into the top 3 on the soft tyres, but Clunky Boy's right behind him. So as we go through the middle chicane for the first time, Clunky Boy looked a lot more confident through there, even with the soft tyres. He's burning a lot of ERS. He's thinking about the move early on. Gives him the outside of turn 22. Zach will let him go. Probably smart. He knows it's not really too wide through there, but he loses a little bit of time and a little bit of speed off the exit. Jumping to the front, Prezzo. Sneaky was thinking about the move around the outside. Prezzo just hugs the middle of it, but he gets a poor exit through here, so Sneaky burning all of his ERS to try and get the move done. Prezzo will cover the inside line as we start lap 2. So again, if you can hang it around the outside here, turns to the inside. These two side by side. Prezzo, will he have the traction? Still have the inside around for turn 4. Has it? Will Sneaky's think about the move around the outside, or nearly some contact? The two do well, but Sneaky, as you can tell, a lot more pace than Prezzo, especially through this section of the track. Problem is, he has burnt nearly half his battery trying to get that move done in the first lap. So these will stay as is. Keep an eye on this battle. I think Sneaky had a little bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin. That's dropped him back a couple of tenths. Further down the grid, Zach 4th, Orphan Drop 5th. Davis obviously having that spin around the exit of 2. Obviously he's made a pit stop onto the medium set of tyres. He can go double medium from here, but obviously put him a long, long way back. Grid Jokes down to P6. We saw him half spun. Jimson and Banana, that's a little bit of contact, and it's sort of hurt the exit speed of these guys as Grid Jokes gets Orphan Drop. Orphan Drop, think about the fight. He won't, he'll stay behind. But what about this feisty fight here? That's a little bit wide from Banana, from Jeff. So we're keeping on multiple battles. So Jeff's got Banana, Ghost Rider. Using a lot of ERS, he's going to send it down the inside. Gets the move done. Banana on the hards, tries to do it, but backs out of it, cuts the corner. Probably a smarter move, but unfortunately... and that's a moment from Ghost Rider. Trying to get on the power a little bit too early, loses a spot to Masticles. Go through here. So battles all down this field. Roscoe Arm, right behind Orphan Drop. Zach Softs. Sort of hanging in there, but he's nearly dropped out of DRS as it was activated this lap. But Sneaky about 4 tenths behind. This is his chance now. It comes through 16 and 17. Was a bad exit. Prezzo was a little bit better. We know how good he's been down these straights. First time we'll see how Sneaky is down with the top speed. It's 320. Had a bit of a moment, didn't get the best line through there. Roscoe does get past Orphan, but I think Orphan will get DRS back on him. So Roscoe's going to put a lot of ERS to try and keep him behind. Sneaky with that poor line through the last chicane. Isn't quite there. But Sneaky's very, very good through the final corner. Prezzo's not. Prezzo won't defend Sneaky. Oh, that was definitely lag on his side. Thought he was having a moment, but Sneaky down the inside takes the lead. So we'll see if Prezzo can hold on, but Sneaky, if he can get through Sector 1 very nicely, this might be one and done already. Banana and Ghost Rider, second time round at turns 1 and 2. Banana finally gets the job done. Moves himself up into P11, obviously on the hard compound tyres. What about Grid Jokes? He's behind Zach now. Coming around turn 13. Roscoe's just hanging in there, or yellow flag. Banana and Ghost Rider still fighting. So I think we've had Ron have a moment through there. Ghost Rider goes back up the inside. So these two are fighting hard. Banana will have the better line out of turn 17. Obviously DRS in this section of the track. Not quite anything, and he's hasn't got a lot of DRS to use either. We jump back up to Grid Jokes because he looks like to be setting a move. Not quite down the inside. Looks like he'll have a better line through here. Actually, not as well as what I thought. So Zach may be able to hold on to this position, but Grid Jokes is going to burn a lot of his ARS. Zach's burning as well. Roscoe sets the fastest lap. Grid Jokes down the inside. Zach's going to hang it around the outside, turn into the inside. I think Grid Jokes will get the better traction through here. Zach's still going to try and fight it, but ultimately concedes. So Zach drops to P5, goes a little bit wide. That might let the door open for Roscoe. Not quite. Prezzo half a second behind, so Sneaky hasn't dropped him. So Zach goes a little bit wide. Interesting to see if that was a penalty. Warning, I should say. Be careful. Obviously Roscoe, he knows he was the only one to pick up a 3-second time penalty in the sprint, so he'll be mindful as well. Davis, he sets the fastest lap on the new worst set of mediums in clear air. Problem is, he's a long way off. Oh no, Prezos is at a moment. He's spun. Oh, thankfully Ghosting's on, because he would have taken out 3-4 cars then. So he manages to get back on track, but he was looking so good. Just sitting behind Sneaky there, but unfortunately he's going to be at the rear of the field. Even behind his teammate. Looks like he's still got both front ends. End plates, I should say. Roscoe gets to move around the outside of Zach. Zach tries to fight him back. Not quite. What about the Red Bull behind Jimson on Orphan Drop? The Orphan Drop has DRS, so we'll have a bit of a DRS train. Roscoe's burnt all his DRS to get the move done. Zach's not close enough for a move, so Roscoe up into P4. Orphan and Jimson. Oh, was that a little bit of a squeeze? Jimson's around. When he's sort of blocking pit lane, got to be a little bit careful with that. Doing the 15-point turn as Steely and Banana go side by side through turn 2. Oh, nearly a bit of contact there. Oh, Jimson's retired on track as well, so that's a bit of a no-no as well. So as his car keeps going as well, so a few of these boys not remembering the rules. Resetting the track and retiring on track as well. So Zach on the soft tyres, he's still within DRS with Roscoe, but Roscoe's starting to pull away now. Those softs, I reckon they've been screaming out. Soft tyres aren't great after about 5-6 laps. Masticles chasing Ghost Rider down. Ghost Rider's tyres probably aren't feeling the best either. Prezzo trying to fight back through after his spin. Right behind Banana. A bit of a moment through there. Ghost Rider, I think he had a little bit of a moment, so that allows Masticles through. Prezzo, you just see Banana's got DRS and just he flies past even without DRS. Banana tries to hold it around the outside. Not quite. And we're right on board with Banana. We'll just see how quickly Prezzo goes away as we do have our first person in the bits. That's Ghost Rider. He's off the softs. And just look how quickly Prezzo pulls away, and he goes down the inside of Steely. Steely has the inside line. Banana thinking he might be able to try and fight this back. Not quite. Prezzo still trying to hang it around there as they go side by side, and that's contact all, and that's Banana in the wall. Oh, Banana was just an unlucky bystander. And that has caused a virtual safety car. So Banana probably wanted a full safety car to be able to change that front wing. With the virtual, the entire train's sort of the wrong part of the track. So I don't think we'll see anybody box under the VSE, especially because it will probably be ending shortly. With Sneaky, 2.5 second lead. So sort of having it his own way, especially after Prezzo spun it. Grid Jokes leads Clunky Boy by probably about a tenth, about a second. We'll wait for the DRS to sort of the VSCs to end, so we sort of know where the delta is after. VSC still ready to go, so do we see anybody do make a sneaky pit stop? Obviously, can save yourself up to 8-9 seconds. Everybody looks like they're staying out. Roscoe, he's the one that's going to take the risk. Currently running P4s, Zach comes in. That's smart from him too. Obviously get off those soft tyres. So VSC lasting a little bit longer, so these two might work out very nicely. Obviously on the new set of tyres. So as these boys come out of pit lane, oh, and they've timed it very nicely as they go back to full speed. Got to be a little bit careful of the lines, but Roscoe is only P10 and hasn't lost a lot of time. Oh, and that's Roscoe. I said that, but I jinxed him. He obviously had a moment, and he slammed into the wall, so he'll be back in for a brand new front wing. So that's certainly hasn't worked out. Zach, it definitely worked out for him, and he's on the medium set of tyres. But yeah, super unfortunate. Obviously the hards are very tough to warm up, as we know in this game, and unfortunately he's found himself into the wall. Looking back up front, we know how these two fought at the end of the sprint, so look to it to get a little bit feisty, and Lucky Boy's got 100% ERS pretty much, and Grid Joke's only about half of it. So Clunky's looking to be in the better position. Not getting as much time down the straight than what I thought. See how he's coming out of the corner, but just right behind Orphan Drop. As Prezzo gets the move done on clean break out of the final corner, or before the final corner I should say. Jeff, I think, would have this pace advantage. Obviously, the two Haas's swapping positions, so it might have been a bit of team orders. I think clean break would have held him up quite a lot. Prezzo, about 8/10 off the Alfa Romeo of Steel in front. Jeff, Orphan a little bit offline there. Might have picked himself up a warning, and he was very close to all four wheels off the outside the white line as well there. So definitely struggling in that first sector. Looks like he had a bit of a moment through there. That might have been a bit of lag. Roscoe in once again on the soft compound of tyre. So he's going to have to box once again. Obviously, he would have only had the one set of hards. And mediums are very tough to get home from here. So he's making another stop. So he's going to want to hope for a safety car. But that puts him down. So both McLarens have had a bit of a mare through here. And that's super wide again from Orphan Drop. So really starting to struggle with his tyres. And this should be a fairly simple move from Jeff. He does get the move done around the outside. Orphan possibly trying to find him back. We'll quickly switch to this top battle. Sneaky all on his own out front. It's fastest lap 31.6. Lucky saved a lot of ERS still. Still just sitting behind at the moment. What about these two? Orphan looks moves a little bit to the left. Stays as is. Jeff sets purple last sector, obviously with the DRS. What about Steely coming into turn one? quite, but Prezzo making that move done already. So Prezzo back up into P7, but he's got about 5 seconds to close into the AlphaTauri Masticals. Lucky Boy 2, 3 tenths behind. So we're right on board with him for a little bit. See how he is through this section. Oh, and who's at a moment? Prezzo. That's his second moment of the race. He's having a bit of a shocker. And Steely holds on just barely from clean break. Prezzo just struggling at the moment. Oh, and that's Jeff having a moment. And he's lost an end plate, so he'll be in for a set of new tyres. And unfortunately, he's on the hard, so he has to go to the mediums. He's got to try and stretch them out 15 laps. So just few mistakes starting to creep in. And what about these two? Still quite close, but again, not close enough to make a move. The Jokes is good out of the final corner. And stays as is. Closest battle on track. We know these two got together at the end of the sprint. They're both in podium positions at the moment. Sort of seen the McLarens drop off, have incidents. Prezzo having incidents as well, as Jeff's in for a new front wing. I imagine he'd go onto a set of mediums to see if he can make them last the entire way. Prezzo's in as well, so he's obviously hit the wall or just wants off those old mediums. We'll see. Yeah, that's a front wing, so he's had contact. Meanwhile, at the back, Banana and Davis. It's two boys that have also had issues in this race. Banana gets the job done, but Davis wants to fight him back. Davis obviously on older mediums. Banana covers the inside a little bit. Roscoe sets the fastest lap, obviously on the new set of softs. Banana manages to hold on, so good defending from him. So, but we'll quickly switch back to this top battle. Clunky right up the rear end. I think his ERS is not, surprisingly. Surely I would have said to move down the inside. Got a lot of ERS to burn that he could have burned down this straight, but he is going to try here. ERS. This is his chance. He's going to go for it now. But even still, just look at straight line speed. We've got a yellow flag. Oh, and that's Ron. He's at a moment. He was running good in P9. But unfortunately, he's around. And I imagine he's probably got damage to his front wing with the way that corner is. If you do have a spin. Masticals is in. He wants off those mediums. So that's a legit pit stop. No damage. Zach obviously pitting under the virtual safety car. He's in P7. Obviously on the medium set of tyres, so that's going to be a struggle for him to try and get them to the end. See, he'll stay on clean break actually. He looks fairly close to having a move on Steely. Really a move here. He's got a lot of ERS. So I've got a couple of battles here where the preceding car has got a lot of ERS, but haven't been able to find a way past the car in front. Now that was a better line from Grid Jokes that time around. Clunky's still there. But I'm thinking Clunky has to sort of maybe get the move done here and then just burn and cover the inside line. He hasn't had much luck coming out of the last corner. Hugging the tighter apex than what Grid Jokes did. He's burning. He burns at the start and then decides not this lap. Maybe trying to force Grid Jokes to burn more. I think Grid Jokes is comfortable enough with his top speed that he doesn't have to, as Orphan Drop comes in for his pit stop. So it's made good ground, kept it out of trouble, sort of having a race on his own actually as he switches to the hard tyres. So we'll see where he comes out in terms of Zach. Masticals as well. So Orphan comes out. Obviously got to be careful with the hard tyres, we saw Roscoe obviously have his issue coming out. Jeff sets the fastest lap on the brand new set of medium tyres. Alright, these two still squabbling. As Davis and Banana cover the inside line. Davis on the inside, but Banana knows if he can get the exit out of here. Problem is Davis has got the inside line at 4. Side by side, Banana trying to hang it around the outside. He goes off track. Does actually come back on. Or Davis had a bit of a squiggle. So he still goes side by side. Oh, contact and both of them are around. Banana picking up a 3-second time penalty. You sort of knew that was going to happen. We saw that in the sprint with Jimson and possibly Ron from memory, but second time we've seen that tonight, that 2x2, side by side through there does not work out. So Banana and Davis, their races sort of go from bad to worse. Still in the points and still running. Every driver will finish as Jeff on the brand new mediums gets past Ron after recovering from his spin. And Steely got Clean Break and Zach behind him. So Zach's caught this train, obviously on a lot fresher tyres. And Clean Break unfortunately can't get past the Alfa Romeo. And Clunky Boy can't get past the Williams. And all the while, Sneaky just driving his own race, 5.5 seconds in front. I haven't got a lot of ERS, but he can extend this stint because he's not really in any danger, really. Just needs to keep it out of the wall, in between the white lines, and he will pretty much have pretty much nearly the Grand Slam if he can try and nab fastest lap. Clunky not as close this time. He actually lost a little bit of ground actually, so he might have had a bit of a moment through 22-23. Coming on to straight, all Grid Jokes is in. Oh, and he picks up a 5-second time penalty. So Clunky Boy would have seen the 5 pop up on the front, the top left of his screen. He knows Grid Jokes has a 5-second penalty. He knows he's sped. So Clunky Boy, maybe if he doesn't necessarily get past, can know that he will have it. But we know how hard the hard tyres are to warm up. So Clunky Boy is going to be pushing on this out lap, I reckon, to try and get the gap on him. Orphan drop jump steal. He boxes off the hard tyres, so he's going to be on the fresh mediums. So Steely will probably come out around Prezzo, maybe around Ghost Rider. Yeah, it's fine, Ghost Rider. And we've had Ghost Jeff having a spin. Oh, so unfortunate for Jeff. Hopefully he hasn't taken a front wing. Got to be a little bit careful that he doesn't spin and go back a little bit too far and gets disqualified. So Grid Jokes has managed to navigate the first sector without having an issue. Clunky Boy burning a lot of ERS. I thought he would have, but surely he's got to come in. Prezzo picking up a 3-second time penalty. So it just hasn't been his race. As does Clunky Boy come in. No, he stays out. He wants to extend this stint. So maybe knowing that Grid Jokes has a 5-second penalty, maybe want to come out and maybe have some fresh tyres that he can sort of fight back. But as long as he doesn't speed in the pit lane, as Zach goes up the inside of Clean Break, but a nice switchback from Clean Break, and he will actually have DRS, as we've got yellow flag at the hairpin. I think that might have been Roscoe or Banana letting either of them by. Or as these two go side by side, that's a little bit deep from Zach. Clean Break's got the inside line. Can Zach get the traction out? He can't with the medium tyres, so unfortunately, but side by side, Clean Break goes a little bit wide out of 4. Zach won't be too happy with that because I reckon it sort of helped him keep the position. Clean Break picks up a 3-second time penalty, however, a couple of corners later. Zach burning ARS to sort of try and get back in there. Clunky still hasn't boxed. We'll see. He's burning a little bit of ARS, but still saving up quite a bit actually. We've got a yellow flag. Oh, Jeff's had another issue. Another spin. Looks like he's kept it out of the wall, but dropping down the field, it was looking like a good race for him. What does the AlphaTauri do as we just prepare the battle for Zach and clean break again? Does he pit? No, he doesn't. He stays out. So I'm wondering if these two are going the medium soft. Not a bad choice. Roscoe's done 7 laps on the softs as well. Roscoe might be doing a soft actually, or back onto the mediums, but he's not going too bad. Grid Jokes is about to set his personal best of the race. He does by 2/10, 32.4 with the fastest lap. Sneaky sort of miles in front, only man in the 31s. As Zach gets past clean break because he boxes. And we'll have a quick look at the penalties with 8 to go. Grid Jokes obviously the 5-second penalty. So Zach, he's about 8 odd seconds behind him as Steely gets past clean break. He comes out of the pits. Trezzo back up to P9 after his second spin. Roscoe gets past Ron, who makes another stop onto the medium tyres. As the field sort of spread out now. Obviously the top two yet to stop. He's burning a lot of ARS now, so I'm wondering if he comes in. Or Orphan Drop picks up a 3-second time penalty. So he was looking to probably close down Zach at the later stages. He can still do that, but now he's going to have to gap him. Does he have to pit? No, he doesn't. As we start lap 18. So yeah, these two, their mediums are not going to feel super great, but if they can go onto the soft tyres, they'll be in a really nice position. Grid Joke's obviously cutting a lot of time out of Clunky Boy. So Clunky's going to hope that those soft tyres can catch right back up really quick. As we've got Ron and Jeff. Oh, Jeff thinking about a move down at this chicane. As we have a look at the tyres. Oh, Jeff gets the inside line. He'll have DRS. And move done was fairly comfortable. But Ron will obviously have Jeff struggling out of the final corner actually. So Ron might be able to try and take this down at turn 1. He sees the Alpine in front of him flashing. Jeff covers to the inside. So Ron the outside and actually gets the move done before turn 1. So he moves himself back up, and those mediums should now start to be in the right temperature window. Is Jeff possibly thinking about fighting back? Not quite. So they'll stay as they are. So we should see maybe a bit more pressure tyres pull away a little bit. Jeff did a good job hanging in there. Sneaky. Race leader is into the pits. So he's got about 7 laps to go. So he's definitely gone onto the soft tyres. So where does he come out? Should actually have a lot of ground actually. He does. Careful of the white lines, and those soft tyres will warm up very nicely. So Sneaky remains effective race leader. Clunky Boy yet to stop, so surely he'll have to be in at the end of this lap. Jokes. About just over 17 seconds off the race lead. But obviously it will be on the harder tyre. The top two will be on the softs when they do stop. Zach. Nice position, P4. Ron and Jeff get past Roscoe, who does box again. So Roscoe went 10 laps on his softs, so top two will definitely get to the end, Clunky and Sneaky. But Clunky's got to come in and try and close within that 5 seconds. Davis and Roscoe, oh, they're coming out fairly close, so I don't imagine these two will fight. I think Davis let off the throttle just a little bit, let his teammate by, knows he's going to be on the brand new soft tyres. So Roscoe probably trying to nab fastest lap. He'll get a couple of points for 13, as Clunky Boy does come in. So now this is the fight for second. There's a nice stop onto the soft tyres. Where does Grid Jokes? He's coming down the front straight now. Sets his personal best of the race as well. Clunky Boy just coming out of the pits. So what's the gap? About 1.5. So he actually did not too bad of a job on the medium tyres, as we got a yellow flag. Oh, and that's Jeff gone around once again. He's in the wall, hits the wall a couple of times. But stay on this battle for second, because I reckon this move's coming fairly shortly. The group difference will be absolutely massive, especially in the next couple of laps. So Clunky doesn't need to be aggressive. These tyres warm up and have to overdrive it. They'll just naturally have the better grip coming out of the corners with the traction. Get DRS, he doesn't, but he's now within that 1 second. So you'll look to see him possibly make a move down to turn 1 if he gets the exit. So it's so much different. Go so much later into the corner. Should have a better drive. Sneaky sets the fastest lap, 30.2. That's sort of just how much pace he's got on those soft tyres. It's closing, not quite, but I reckon this move's coming in the next lap. You'll see the pace difference through this section alone. 6, now 7. Like the double right-hander. He has to lift off just a little bit, otherwise he runs into the back of him. Better traction through there. As I said, doesn't have to rush it. He's got 4.5 laps to go. Able to take a narrow line through the hairpin, and you just see him pushing. Just got to be a little bit careful. Grid Jokes might break a little bit early, and you can sort of see that just put him off just a little bit, but the traction coming out of here, he might even get it done before the chicane. Gets DRS, takes the inside line, and gets the job done. So now Grid Jokes, can he get out of here? He can't. Not as great as obviously those new soft tyres, and he won't be able to fight himself back. Obviously he's got a bit more better in terms of straight line speed, but Clunky will just get away now. Oh, but he does hit the wall. He's got to be a little bit careful. Doesn't want to give himself a minor bit of front wing damage, because that won't help his cause to hold on to set P2. Down into turn 1. So these two stay the same. Clunky holds his position, and you should now just start to see him gap. Especially through this section alone. We saw him lift off last time. So it was 6 tenths before this section. It's now up to 9 tenths. Get a line through here. On the exit, yeah, he made up nearly half a second. That's how much better those soft tyres are through there. So Clunky just needs to keep it within the white lines, and P2 will surely be his with 3.5. He goes purple in the first sector as well. But this next battle, Borfman didn't get that 3-second time penalty. He'd be really close to fighting for P4. Still P5, still good. Masticles is a long way back and sort of on his own at the moment. This is the next battle to watch out for. Looking at tyres, Zach's is starting to go a little bit. 14 lap old mediums, Orphans 9 lap old hards. Too bad, he's got no ARS, but he's now in DRS. Zach hasn't got a lot to defend either. We go down to the final corner. Orphan close up quite a lot. If you can get a bit of a switch back through here, wasn't too bad. He's burning as much as he can, so he's going to look down at turn 1. That covers the outside line, so he's actually not going to defend this too hard, actually. And Orphan gets the job done, moves himself up into P4. Problem is, can he get a 3-second gap in 3 laps? I think it's going to be a bit of an ask. Zach just needs to keep it behind him. Doesn't have to do anything too stupid. As we drop down to 7th and 8th, Steely and Clean Break. These two going at it once again. They were battling before the pit lane, pit stops, and now they're going again after. So looking at these two tyres, Steely a couple laps older, medium tyres, but should be too bad. They'll definitely be still relatively healthy by the end. Obviously these two don't have a lot of ERS left. Prezzo, obviously he was running second at the time of his first spin. Hasn't been his night. Could have been good to get some points on the top two in the championship who aren't racing tonight. Banana and Davis. Thought that was going to be a move, but Davis is boxing yet again. I'm pretty sure he's made like 4 pit stops. So Banana currently running 14th, and Davis just gets lapped. So he's the first car to be lapped. Orphan hasn't been able to drop Zach. As long as Zach stays within DRS, he should be good for the P4. As we got a yellow flag, that is Davis. He's having a bit of a moment. It is. You've got to be a little bit careful because the second and third are coming through. Break still can't find his way past the Alfa Romeo. And Ghost Rider's got Roscoe and Jeff right behind him. So how these guys' tyres are. Roscoe on the 4 lap old softs. Davis picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. He's up to 6. Roscoe burning the rest of his ARS. Just the end of the top speed. Oh, that's a little bit deep from the Mercedes. Or a little bit of contact between the two. And the Williams Alpine has a bit of a moment with Jeff, and I think he's hit the wall, unfortunately. So Roscoe gets the move done. Davis has had another spin, and taken his entire front wing off. Even though he's ghosted, he's letting the guys cleanly pass. But yeah, Davis just not having a good time of it at the moment. Ghost Rider just dropping off, obviously, and then Jeff. You have a feeling Jeff has lost an end plate. He's lost a lot of time. Still got the end plate there, but sure, might have a bit of damage. These two still can't be separated 6/10. I think Clean Break might be saving up a fair bit of ERS to try and have a sneaky go. Davis is going really slowly. So we've got to be a little bit careful. Maybe trying to let Sneaky lap him again so he can finish it. But, oh, Sneaky has a slide coming out of 17. But we are on the final lap. And Sneaky has done absolutely nothing wrong. A bit of a battle with Prezzo at the start, but once Prezzo had his moment, it's been all the Aston Martin's way. We haven't seen much of him because he's been by himself, but no one can fault his pace today. There you go, you got the McLaren, I think, waiting to be lapped again so he doesn't have to do another lap. But Sneaky, rounding the final corner, gets a bit of DRS, but he'll come across the line. Sneaky will win the double in Saudi Arabia. Clunky Boy does manage to finish in P2. Grid Jokes just behind him. However, he had the 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane, so that probably cost us a little bit of a good battle at the end. Orphan Drop just couldn't quite get the 3 seconds ahead. Got close, 1.8. but Orphan dropped. They'll be P5. Good result from him, Zach. Awesome job, just missing out of the podium, but I think the top three just had a bit too much speed today. Massacle's P6 sort of struggled at the end, and then actually stealing clean break nearly got him, but Massacle's hold on for an awesome P6. Steely P7, clean break P8. The second of the half drive was Prezzo. Not his night, couple of issues. Sees him further down the grid than what he liked Ron as well. Roscoe was looking good, pitted under the first VSC, but just having a moment coming out of the pits on the hard tyres. He'll come across the line, finishes P11, Ghost Rider 12. Jeff Banana will be the final two across the line. Davis a couple of laps down. So, about half the grid. Definitely not a feature race to remember. We'll watch Banana come across the line. He'll score a couple of points. But if he decides to finish in pit lane, he'll get a 5-second time penalty, but that won't really matter. Banana 14th, but sneaky. Pretty much dominant in that one. Steely gets the game's driver of the day. Clunky Boy in the Discord, very, very happy. His first Race Spec P2 since season 6, so it's been a little bit for Clunky Boy, but very happy to see him on the second step of the podium, but sneaky. Pretty much, I think he did get fastest lap, so pretty much picked up as many of the points as he can. So absolutely dominant. And looking at the championship standings just quickly, he was 56 behind Dutchy, so that's 10, that's 40. So he'd be within the one race of his teammate Dutchy at the lead, and as you can see, picks up maximum points in game 34. He'll be a little bit more using the race spec system, but we'll have a look at the results for the feature. There we go, sneaky, fastest lap, race win. Got under 40 minutes, so no safety cars, which is good to see. Clunky Boy P2, Grid Jokes, they're your top three on the podium. Zach and Orphan, good drives from them. Masticles, Steely up a lot of places, same as Clean Break. Prezzo having a race to forget. Ron Burgundy finishes inside the 10, and then Roscoe, Ghost Rider, my name is Jeff Banana, Davis, and Jimson outside. Jimson DNF, the only DNF that we had after his issue at turn 1. And that will just about do it for us. So we'll just see if any of these boys wants to join us in the comms box. But that was a pretty good race actually. So he was third. Grid Jokes. We'll just invite them real quickly, see if any of them want to have a chat. But yeah, really good race. Obviously, Orphan and Zach, P4, P5, Prezzo, sort of what could have been. I think maybe running the lower wings, maybe he's just struggling just a little bit. So it's definitely interesting to see how they go. But yeah, he just sort of struggled. As we do have a couple of these boys joining us now. So we'll just make sure we can hear them. Yes, we can. Lovely. So, Grid Jokes, I think, is going to join us. He does. So we might start with our third place getter. Grid Jokes, can you hear me? How was your night? Obviously P3, maybe that 5-second penalty at the end, sort of costing you that battle for P2 in the end, but good race in both for you. Obviously, a good battle with Clunky pretty much in both races. But yeah, how did you feel your night went? Yeah, exactly right. And sort of how'd you feel? Obviously, that 5 second penalty at the end. Uh, sort of disappointment because it would have been obviously a thrilling end watching you two battle, but I think that was sort of your only real big mistake that I think you had. But obviously the contact as well in at the end of the sprint. Can you sort of talk us through that a little bit? Did you see much, feel much on your end at that last lap around the last corner? But yeah, anyway, that was a great couple of races from you. Obviously, jumping into the tier two. Pretty sure you've got the full time seat at Williams. So obviously, a great debut for them. So obviously next week we are at Australia. So how you feeling around that track? Yeah, well, as I said, you sort of didn't quite feel the flow here, but you did a awesome job. A couple of podiums, so congratulations, and we'll see you next week in Australia. All right. Second place getter, Clunky Boy. Obviously, we saw you in the Discord just before. First podium in a little bit, so a couple of seasons. So must be thrilled for that P2 result. Exactly. Yeah, we sort of saw that. For it wasn't Prezzo's night, but obviously the end of that feature. Obviously, we saw Grid come in for his pit stop, but you probably saw that 5 second penalty come up straight away, so you figured if I can keep it clean, go along to the softs. That second place was pretty much yours. Exactly right, and obviously, of your first podium, sort of obviously probably hasn't quite sunk in yet, but obviously overall, is Saudi sort of one of your better tracks that uh, you sort of you were happy to do it, or it was more so got a little bit lucky, Prezzo having and a couple of others having its issues and sort of making the most of sort of what you sort of had in terms of this track. Exactly right. But as I said, uh, congratulations on you. Obviously, your first podium of the season in a couple of seasons. So obviously, big congratulations to you and obviously Australia next week. So hopefully we'll see you then. All right, and our race winner pretty much had it nearly his entire way in both the sprint and the feature. Sneaky, pretty much nearly dominant all round from you. Brilliant drive from you. Yeah, we were looking forward to that. Obviously, Prezzo got the jump on you in the feature, and we knew how sort of low wings he was running because he had quite a bit of top speed. So managed to get the move done. We sort of hoping to sort of break him a little bit, knowing that you seemed a little bit quicker, especially in that first sector. Yeah, exactly right, and obviously sort of a bit boring after that. But in terms of the championship, with obviously Dutchy haven't been able to race the last couple, and then obviously getting promoted to P2 from last week. I reckon you're only within about 15 points of Dutchy, so that's closed you right back up as we just about to hit just gone over halfway in this championship. Do you reckon you can take it to your teammate once he does come back? Yeah, exactly. But I think with the way you two are going, I'm pretty sure this constructors is pretty much nearly wrapped up with how you two are going, and with McLaren sort of having a bit of a poor feature race with Roscoe and Davis finishing low down the field. It's probably only a matter of time with the constructors. But yeah, fingers crossed that you and if Data has a reserve, obviously if he races here and there, should see some good racing in the second half of the season. But Australia next week. How are you feeling about that one? Yeah, well, definitely be another interesting race. Obviously, with the modifications that they've made in this game, obviously a lot more full throttle around the track, and obviously the walls are still just as close. So yeah, looking forward to next week. But again, congratulations on your double victory. Lots of points, and yeah, should be a fascinating second half of the season. So congratulations. All right, and that will pretty much just wrap us up. So, as I just said before, Australia next week, just before the real life GP starts in a couple of weekends' time. I know a few of the boys are going to be there, so it should be a good time there. So join us same time next week, 7:30 Australian Eastern Daylight, 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time. So we'll go around Australia for about 29 laps. So until then, I've been Scotty, and we'll see you next week at Australia. So bye for now.